Momo, Aunt Momo.
Hi, Benjamin Button.
What's up? Faith, I swear to God.
I am telling you, I thought she's in rare form today. She had training last night, and I think she's like had it with me.
I think she's had it with you a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely are like roommates that butt heads, like no one's business. But Faith, she wants to play, but I just took her out to play with her in the backyard.
Nothing's ever good enough.
This was lovely, and then she was barking because there's construction going on. She doesn't like that. So then I tried putting her in her crate, but then she was mad at that. So now we have
pick her up and hold her. We want to see her. Bring her to the camera. Bring her to the camera. Faithy.
She's looking at me like this, like, what? Like, you want me to come over there?
Of course.
Look at this adorable little beast.
A little slipper.
She's just a little ball of energy that sometimes I love and sometimes I just want to
Piss to death.
That's
what you should say.
I've almost dropped her off at the pound a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. So last time we did 20 questions, it got a really good response and people thought it was fun. So I thought it would be cool to do it again.
Let's do it. I got my questions handy.
Yeah, me too.
Why don't you start this one?
Okay.
Okay.
So if you could repeat one experience you've had in your life, what would it be?
Ooh.
When you met me.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to make it weird. But that was actually one of them. It was, we've been friends forever. That's definitely something I would, yeah, it was awesome. But I got two. Okay. First one would be skydiving, which I've done a lot, but I would like to do that again because it was like, that's when I felt like I could either die or like experience something amazing. I chose to not be scared and experience something amazing. The first time I did it, and if I could experience it the first time again, I would do it.
Wow. I mean, I wish I had the guts to do that. I don't know. I feel like I would get up there and just go, absolutely not. But then once you're up there, I think they make you do it. They like push you out. They're like,
you're tandem on someone. So like you have like hooks onto your jacket and they hook onto you. So you're one with the person. So whatever he does, you do.
I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it. I can't do it. I've done indoor skydiving, which was lovely. My cousin does it for a living. Like he's an instructor, a skydive instructor, and he does.
Oh, indoor, you said? You said indoor skydiving?
Yeah, both. Oh. He does both. He's an instructor for both, but he's done it with me and my uncle. They do it professionally, but and I love like learning the little tricks and things. Yeah. That's good enough for me. Like going up the tunnel in a little room, like that's fine.
Well, you know what's going to happen now? We're going to have to take you to do the real thing.
No.
Yeah, your next birthday is going to happen.
I would have to be heavily medicated.
No, it's going to be awesome. You're going to love it.
Okay.
We're going to do it. The second one that I would do again is when I was a lot younger, I did like IDF training, Israeli military training, and it was like the best experience of my life. It was, it was incredibly challenging. It was awesome. They had soldiers come, and when they were on leave or on break, they would come to what we were doing, the camp we were at, and they would hollow out rifles and give us each a rifle. And you would go and you'd hike the mountains and you would learn how to if there was someone in attack, how to drop to the ground in 1 second with a rifle, where to go in shooting position and how to defend yourself, how to clean your gun. And it taught you responsibility. And it was such a humbling, amazing experience for like me as a young kid. And I'll never forget like just the times and the things that I saw and experienced and learned. And it was such a grounding experience for me. So I would do that again for sure. I mean, I have regrets not going to the Army, but I would do that again, at least for sure. So that's something.
Saying that's always looks so awesome. Is that what they did in like Wonder Woman. Is that the same training that they did? Like it was like Israeli training. I don't.
Oh, Krav Maga.
Yes.
Yeah. Krav actually. My cousin Sasha is a professional instructor for Krav Maga, and I want to go and do that
You
with her. So
do that.
yeah, I told her I'm going to start next month. So that's what I'm going to try to do is go up there and start doing it like once, twice a week. And it looks awesome. But no, it's not. It wasn't combat. It was simply just like It was to teach you responsibility for your rifle and for your belongings and your team around you. That was the main thing: is responsibility. Spatial awareness, like know your surroundings, and just how to take care of yourself. So those simple things were like awesome.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Krav, you would love Krav. You should do Krav Maga.
I want to try that. Sorry, Ben. This is like.
Is Faith having a loudmouth today?
She is like on. I'm telling you, she is in rare form today. She wanted on the bed, and my bed's a little tall, so she couldn't get on. Hopefully now she's happy. I think that sounds awesome. I've always wanted to do that. I think it looks so badass. I want to do it.
Yeah, it looks fun.
So should definitely set that up. That sounds awesome. I know you said that you had regrets about not joining the military.
Yeah, my dad went. Obviously, he lived there, so he was forced. But like he always talks about it being the best experience of his life, and like it was the best school for him, and he learned really how to be a man. It forces you to become a man. It's not like they teach you like here's what you do, and it's just through experience and through trauma and through finding what you're made of, and when you are at your wits' end and exhausted, still having strength to pick someone else up, and like just those little things that you get, combat aside, just the rest of it. So I always wished I went. And I don't think I ever told you this. He showed me a video when I was like at the age to go to the army, and it was of his friend's son that was in the army, and they were in the mountain stationed. He was with his friend, and they were like there for like 3 or 4 or 5 hours. So they were stationed for a while. And he had his helmet camera on. And so he turned it around and showed him like, hey, here we are in the mountains. Check it out. Here's my gun. Here's my friend saying hi. And he got his head sniped on camera by, yeah. So it was after that, he was kind of just like, it's not what it used to be. You're not going. And he tore up the papers and that was it. So I never went. But
Wow.
yeah, big regrets there. But, I stayed here. I got to start my business and be here for my nephews being born and everything. So I'm glad I stayed on some level. But yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. So
yeah, sure. Of course.
What
do you got?
I think that, okay. There are so many experiences in my life that I would love to relive. I feel like I had like 10 amazing ones. I just couldn't think of them. And like, so I know your life is insane. So I can't wait to hear what you got. Well, when I think more sentimental, I like really loved my childhood and my great grandma. And I just remember the summers of just very simple life, just like going in the backyard and picking a ton of apricots from her trees and like tomatoes in her garden and running around like I'm telling you I was little, but running around naked in the sprinklers and then having her come in and like wrap me in a towel and I go lay on the couch in the air conditioning during the hot summers and like watch cartoons and I'm like, this is the life. And like just the memory of her and like making BLTs and like we'd set up a fort in the living room. Like she was my great grandma, like it was just such a simple time and I miss her so much. She passed when I was 15. So like reliving that experience would be amazing and just having her around again. But then I also think of like just really cool fun times at like working at the Playboy Mansion. Like those are some of the most fun times of my life. Cool. It's like it was when it was just a different time, where like, we just had fun. And it just seemed like a simpler time. And I feel like, I was working as a photographer, but like it didn't feel like work. I'm very blessed to like have chosen careers that I've never really felt like work, but yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It was like partying all the time. So those are like the experiences that really like, I don't know, stick out to me that I would like to to relive. Yeah.
I think I would change mine a little bit to what you just said because I think we both had great childhoods. So I would love to change mine to like literally any childhood experience, like any time with my family at the beach or playing and then having lunch and making guac together or whatever, or riding horses or whatever. Any of that stuff is like absolute happiness. So I love yours. I'm changing mine to that.
Okay, sounds good.
Number
All right,
two, huh?
Mhm.
What you got?
No, you. I think your turn.
Oh, you started. That's correct. Okay, hold on. If you had to choose the most necessary thing you do every day, what would it be?
Oh, working out.
Mm.
Working out for me. If I don't, in fact, I only got 2 workouts in last week, which was, I don't remember the last time I was only able to get 2 workouts in a week, and I felt very off. I still do. Mentally, physically, like it just, it's so necessary for me to work out every day.
Why'd you only get 2 in?
because
right now?
because I'm newly seeing somebody, and we were spending a lot of time together last week.
That's great. Hey.
He was leaving for work for a week, and I, knew I wasn't going to see him, and so we literally spent like every moment together that I wasn't working last week, and work was busy last week as well. But yeah, we just were enjoying each other's company. Yeah. So
I think it's good because you don't let yourself have that very often. So I think it's really good that you do that. Even when you're dating someone, you're very disciplined. You stay on work. You do your thing. But like, I think every once in a while you might let a night go and just enjoy yourself and have like a tough day the next day. But like, you work so hard every day, so early, and you never let up. So I'm glad you had that. It's like really important for you. So that makes me happy to hear.
Ben, thank you.
Yeah,
well, that says a lot about him, because I really don't. I don't allow myself to really take time off or. Exactly. Yeah, because I feel my best when I'm working and working out. But this was good. It was a good little break that I needed. Yeah. Good. What about you?
Drinking coffee. Woo!
Yes.
No. I think I heard I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. I heard a military general speak about this, and I kind of adopted it. I think the most important thing I do every day is making my bed.
Yeah.
It's so important, and it's such a simple task. And I write down my tasks every night before the nights like I go to bed. I do tasks before 8:30 and then tasks before 10:30. So I have like 2 sections. First is like make your bed, have coffee, read your book for 20 minutes, practice Spanish, and then go to the next thing. And then I do those, and then at the end of that 10:30 list, I hit go to the work list, and I go to my work list and stuff I have to do for work. And I think the first action of making your bed is just so important because it's a sense of accomplishment, makes your room look nicer, and when you come back end of the day, your bed is freshly made by you. And great day or shitty day, it's just great to climb into a bed that's freshly made by you. I don't know how to explain it. It's just what it is. So that's my favorite thing I do is making my bed.
It's so true. And if you could see right now, I made my bed this morning because I make it every day.
Yep.
Faith has now destroyed it. And now she just kicked a pillow off the bed.
Oh, she's such a brat. I love it.
I'm going to grab her real quick. Sorry.
No, do your thing.
So many. I mean, she's stressed. Hey, come here.
She's stressed. What, she's got to pay her taxes or something? What's going on?
She, if you could see her right now, I'm not even joking. Like, she is just a ball of energy.
Hi, Faith.
She is. I mean, it's just unreal. And the next question, number 3, is hilarious because it's if you could name the best example of fate that what would it be? When I was like preparing for today, I thought Faith. That's why I named her Faith. Like it was totally fate.
Yeah. I'm
rethinking that today.
Are you?
She's just such a brat. No, but seriously, it's so the fate of having her, like, even though she's difficult today, she really is amazing, and she
Yeah.
helped me through, a difficult time in my life. And
Of course.
and it was totally fate because I was looking to adopt a dog, couldn't find any dogs for adoption. All the dogs that were available were big dogs, and I have a smaller place, so I had to get a smaller dog. And so then, I saw on Instagram someone that had a puppy, and I said, "Where'd you get it?" And she said, a breeder in Riverside. And I was at my sister's place, which is near Riverside.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is perfect. I called the breeder. She's like, "Let me call you back." Never did. Then that night I had a dream, very random, that I was in a Walmart. And in my dream, I'm like, what the hell am I doing at Walmart? Like, I haven't been in a Walmart in years.
Yeah.
And then I woke up, I told my sister about it. Like, I had this dream that I was in a Walmart. It's so random. And then on the way home, I was like, yeah, she never called me, the breeder, but guess it wasn't meant to be. And I'm on the 60 coming back to LA. And then she calls me and she's like, "Hey, sorry, I didn't reach out yesterday. Things got really hectic, but you can come by today and see the puppies if you want tonight." And I said, "Well, I'm already on my way home. I'm on the 60. I don't know if I've passed you already. I have no idea where I'm at."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I'll send you my address. And if you haven't passed it yet, then come by." And so I put it in, and she's the next exit, like less than a mile away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I get there and I meet Faith, and I really just like fell in love with her. And I'm like, but I don't have anything for her. I don't have a crate. I don't have food bowls and water bowls. And she's like, well, there's a Walmart down the street. So I went in a Walmart, and it was just like my dream. It was so surreal. And then I got her, and she's been amazing until today.
Until today. Hi, you little nightmare. How are you?
Today she's a nightmare. She's an absolute nightmare. But we're working on it. We're working with a trainer, and she actually made a lot of headway last night. You would never know it today. But
well, I think for a dog being that cute, she has to be a little bit annoying. Like, there's no way she can be that cute and perfect. It doesn't work that way. So, she's a puppy too. She's not even a teenager yet. She's gonna be a little rambunctious.
oh my gosh, she is
adorable. So it's all good.
No, thank you.
Like
so,
that. What?
What's your moment of fate?
I had a lot of them. Honestly, I have moments of fate that weren't even for myself. There were moments of fate for myself. There's moments of fate for my family, my business. I mean, God, it's crazy. Like, my sisters have both gone through pretty traumatic things in their life, and on different scales. Are not to be compared. They're just different for themselves. But they each led to the amazing families they have now, and the amazing husbands they have now, and the kids they have now, and the kids that make me so proud to be an uncle. And how specifically I love each of them differently is, I mean, it would have happened regardless, of course, but like, just the way everything happened and broke down. And in the moment, it felt horrible. It felt like, why does this happen to me, for my sisters, and like all these things. And through the course of time, it's just amazing how you look at things. And I love that saying. It's old, but it's my favorite. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And you got to realize these things and look at them. And it's true. I mean, it's unbelievable. But there's so many different examples. I'll use that as one of them, is just the families my sisters have cultivated through what's happened to them. And then for me, fate, I would say being fired from my last job. That was the one that really changed the course of my business career. I mean, it was the final, like, I'm not doing this again. I'm sick of it. I'm not going to let someone else be in control of my fate. I'm not, no pun intended, but that was the last straw for me. So when that happened, it brought out that side of me that just said, I'm going to go balls to the wall. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it work. And I did. And that, to me, was the best thing that could have happened to me getting fired from that last job. It taught me I'm not meant to work for somebody.
Yeah.
So, and that led to meeting you, because that's when I started shooting full time. And then Jared's like, hey, like, I got a friend that can help you. And that's how you and I met. So us sitting here talking right now, being as good a friends as we are this many years later is also because of that too. So that to me is, yeah, it's fate for sure, I think.
Yeah, I love it. I've had a lot of examples like that as well,
Yeah.
and that's I think it's awesome to look back and see how fate has like played a huge role in everything that you do and
Sure.
who you meet. It's like everything happens for a reason. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah, I started shifting that mindset from everything happens for. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, but I shifted that from that to like things don't happen to you to happen for you.
Yeah.
It just feels a little less cliche, and it's easier to kind of believe in that versus for me at least personally. So yeah, I love that. What about you? What do you got?
Oh no, I now it's your turn.
No, did you? Oh, you did the fate one. Okay, I'm a little slow today.
No, it's okay.
I'm drinking Celsius. It's hitting me kind of slow.
Oh, changing up from coffee to Celsius.
Look at the color. Yeah, let's see. Wait, okay. If you had to describe yourself in one word as a child, what would it be?
Oh my God. I would say cautious.
Really?
I was a very scared kid. Like I was very cautious to do anything. I mean as a kid, oh my gosh, I was scared of getting in trouble. When I was really little, like I was scared of upsetting somebody. I didn't want to do anything to upset anyone or get into trouble. I never was on like timeout or got grounded or anything like that. And I was scared of being different. I just wanted to fit in. And so I didn't really want to try to stand out too much. I was just very cautious of everything I did and overthought everything I did. I was constantly just stressed and overthinking.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a mess. Until I really became a teenager. And then I think I just started to rebel a little bit because I was so
Then,
tired.
then you were a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this one. She's a teenager right now. She's 10 months. I think that's a teenager.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she's doing right now. I'm going to try one more time to put her in her crate because this is a nightmare.
She's not going to let you do it.
She's not going to let me do it, but I'm going to try. And then
Okay.
you tell me.
Tell you what, right now while you're off screen.
Yep.
All right. God, one word to describe me as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had, I think mask. I wore a mask a lot as a kid. I think I was confused. I had friends that were great friends, but like bad friends for me as a kid. I was like around kids that when we were just behind closed doors, hanging out, playing video games or whatever, they were like great friends. But as soon as we went out and did stuff, we were stupid and did dumb things, and I just followed along because I wanted to be with my friends and do, be part of the crew. But if I was like with my cousins, who were like my best friends growing up, aside from my friends, I was like me. I was just goofy and messing around, having fun and respectful and helpful and all those things. But then I would shift based on who I was around. So I felt a little confused. I didn't know if I was like meant to be. Let me restructure this a little bit. Based on what happened with my sisters, I tried to go the other direction and be like the good one.
Yeah.
They weren't bad by any means, but they were older than me, so they went through stuff faster than I did. I was next in line. So when I became their age, I did some dumb stuff too. But as a kid, I was definitely a little trying to hide a little bit and like be good and still try to find out what it meant to have fun without getting in trouble and show a good face and be the kid that my parents are proud of and then try to be the kid that my friends wanted to be around and be cool enough to be there but not be considered a good boy. Like I was just constantly trying to figure it out. So I don't know if it really answers the question, but that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I think a lot of us go through that as kids, or we're trying to figure out like what group we want to be known with or like fit in with and like what we want to be. We're trying to figure it out. And so you kind of have to like put on these masks and try to figure out which one fits you best.
And what's messed up is I do it now as an adult too. I mean, we all have a mask at some point. At some point, you're a version of yourself. Maybe you, I don't know, not everybody, but me. I know I catch myself and do it less, but I have a mask for certain people. You know, like the person I am in front of, you know, someone a brand new client might get the best version of me. I'm trying to be like the best version of myself. So I'm smiling and nodding along and yeah, totally and whatever. And then when I talk to you, I'm just chilling myself. And then I go to my dad, I'm somebody else. And it's all me, but there's different branches of my energy that people get
Right.
in my attention span.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are that way. Not everybody, but I do think a lot of, and I admire people that can just like be 100% themselves all the time in front of anybody. I think I'm like you, where I'm kind of, and it's not that I'm different with different people or like change my personality. I think certain people bring certain things out in my personality, or sometimes I feel like with other personalities I have to reserve myself a little bit. So I feel like maybe in front of my family sometimes I might be a little more reserved, or I might, like, there's things that I know I can't talk about with my family, but like if I go to a client or a friend or something, then I feel like maybe more myself, or like a different personality comes out in me. And
Yeah.
then with certain friends, like sometimes people just bring like goofy sides out of me or more serious sides out in me. And so I think that's normal. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's awesome. Okay.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. If you, number 5, if you
Okay.
had to keep a detailed diary of a certain period of your life, when would it have been?
That's a hard one. Uh, Again, I got 2 answers. I think the time when I quit my job, or not quit, when I got fired from my job, laid off, I would like to see, remind myself of the hustle that I put in to get to what happened now. The, you know, living like I'm broke, and I was broke, but like living like you're broke, saving your money, you know, not going out doing stupid stuff, buying stupid things, working your ass off, hustling, making contacts, you know, under promising, over delivering, which I still do parts of that, but you get complacent sometimes. And I wish I could, you know, keep a detailed version of my lowest point and go back and look at it and see what qualities I had, what qualities I have now, what I've learned since then, and pick certain parts of, you know, when I did whatever it took to get to where I wanted to be. Because you get comfortable sometimes. You still do what you got to get the job done, but you get comfortable, and I don't like that about myself. Sometimes I get comfortable. So I wish you can go back and see that a little bit. And the second one would be when my family went through my sister having stage 4 breast cancer. I wish I could go back and see how I handled that emotionally, like how I handled myself, how I showed up for other people and for myself, how much I put it away and pretended it wasn't there, or how much I really accepted it and like sat at it and kind of like grieved it in the moment. I wish I wrote down in detailed journal like what my parents looked like, how they handled it, how my sister handled it. I wish I could just go back and really see how we handled one of the toughest times in all of our lives as a family together collectively.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, that would be really cool to see. And I guess like that's why it's so important, I think, to keep journals. And I'm so bad at it, like journals and diaries, because you want to like go back, you forget so many details, or
Sure.
how you handled things. It would be cool to go back and see like how you were so strong in some areas, maybe how you were weak in some areas, and look back and go, wow, I've really grown from that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot. For me, yeah, it's interesting that you say the low, like your lower parts. I think that would be interesting. My mind wasn't there when I read this question. I think I just remember this huge chunk of my life in my early 20s that was so exciting.
Yeah.
Because I was doing photography full time. I was working like 3 jobs. Like I was a nanny for 2 amazing kids and had that like day job. And then at night, I had this huge party life where I would be working one night at the Playboy Mansion, one night at like Laugh Factory or some sort of comedy club, staying up until like working till 2 in the morning and then going at 2 in the morning to like Mills Diner on Sunset with my friends, like all these comedians that I made friends with that I'm still friends with. Like we just had the most amazing time. And like it was back when reality shows were real. And I remember just going to all of the, like, you know, the hills and Laguna Beach and all that. Like we would go to the clubs that they were going to and we'd see the, you know, and it was just like such a fun, exciting time. And I was also at that time a ring girl and for like UFC, and I was modeling a lot and doing like these comedy skits. And like I just feel like as I was getting no sleep, I don't know how I did it because now I need my sleep. I was getting no sleep and working all the time, but it never felt like work. It was so much fun. And I wish I would have kept, I mean, I have photos obviously, but I wish I would have kept a journal of just all the amazing nights because there was always just, it was like my life was always this, like I'd wake up thinking it was just going to be a normal day, and then at the end of the day I would have like gotten invited to some amazing like premiere or and like met so and so and just had the craziest night. And I'm like, it would happen to me all the time, and I'm like, how does this happen? Like I woke up thinking this is going to be a normal day, and then I'm sitting here with like so and so, like Dave Chappelle sharing a pizza. Like that was my life all the time. And it would be really cool to like look back and go, oh yeah, because I know I'm forgetting like memories and amazing nights that I wish I would have like wrote down.
You know what this question should actually be instead of well, I think journaling is important, so I don't want to reduce what that means, but I think the more like compelling thing would be if you could have a like a camera crew following you around, but like you can't see them, but like just fly on the wall camera crew following you around at one period of your life, what would it be? And I would love to see all that stuff you just said. That sounds so cool. That's awesome.
Such a good time in my life.
Wow.
Such a wild time. And there's no worries about coronavirus or
Right?
you know
Oh
what I
my
mean? Like it was just so like
God.
carefree and it's just a different time. And I'm like, wow, that was a really cool time in my life. And yeah, it would be awesome to experience it. But also, like you said, like, no, you got me thinking, like, you know, I went from that to living in Arizona, and after that experience, like kind of got everything taken away from me, and I was living in my car and in a beater car like that barely ran, had the mirror like on the side duct taped on, like I just had lost everything and I was rebuilding my life. And you know, showering at Equinox and getting ready and like there. And it would be cool to have a journal of that as well. I mean, yeah, to see how I got through that, because I know there were hard days, but also looking back, I feel like most days I was pretty positive and didn't let it get to me, but I know it had to have been hard. I just don't think I allowed myself to go there, but it would have been cool to see journals from that as well.
I was gonna say I'd love to see that time of your life when you were like living in your car. I mean that to me is a documentary, a movie. Like that whole thing is that'd be such an interesting time to see like what your thoughts were actually, not just what you think you thought and how you felt, but like what you actually were saying in your mind to yourself, like, here we go again, like, or whatever the case was, or just grateful to have a place to shower in the morning, like whatever it was for you. You know,
Yeah,
that would be so interesting.
yeah. I think looking back though, it's interesting. I never thought of myself as being homeless because I knew I always could go back to like my grandma's or who I was living with for a while before I moved to LA.
Yeah.
I didn't think of myself as being homeless. I remember thinking every day, like, okay, so I just have to get through today. Today I'm in my car. Today I have to shower at Equinox and get ready there. And then I'll get some clients and who knows, like, and then maybe the next day I found someone's couch to sleep on. maybe the next day, someone offered me like, my journals would say like, yeah, this guy at Equinox offered me a room at his house, and I just have to go grocery shopping for him and make dinner and walk his dog, and it's good. And then the next day would be like, so I got kicked out of that house because I wouldn't sleep with him, and now I'm back in my car, and like, like it would be like that. And then like honestly, and it's like on, and then literally one day, like, wow, this amazing family that I've been training just offered me their guest house in Bel Air rent free for a whole year. Like this, I won the lottery. Like literally my journals.
That was amazing. Yeah.
And so just like up and down. But I do remember being pretty positive throughout the whole thing, and I just have to make it through today.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, and if it doesn't work, I go back home. Like,
do whatever it takes.
Yeah. But yeah.
Am I up or are you up?
I think it's me.
Okay, cool.
Oh, describe your first kiss, Ben.
Okay.
How old are you?
Wow, how old was I? I would think I was. God, my God, how old was I? 12, 13, 14, something like that.
Okay.
Might have, no, it was actually, wait. My first like real kiss was probably 13, 14, but like my first kiss was like, I don't know, I was like 5 or 6 or whatever. It wasn't, nothing crazy. But my first one that I remember, I was at camp. I went to a place called Cottontail Ranch, which is in like Malibu Canyon. Okay. And every year we'd have there's a dance you go to, and you go with someone. So I remember one year I asked this girl named, I'll never see her. Her name was Lynn, and she was like one of the cool girls that was like really pretty, and I thought it would never happen, but I asked her and she said yes, and so we went, and we were at the dance, and we kind of just walked off, and she just said, "Do you want to make out?" And I said, "Yeah." And so we just started making out. That was it. We just started making out right there. We were under a tree, and we were like behind it. It was at night. We were behind a tree, and the dance floor was over here, and we were right in the spot where I thought we were hidden, but literally all the camp instructors could see us, and PDA was a no, you don't do that. And so we got busted right away. Like in 2 seconds, that's not true. 10 seconds we were busted. We made out for a little bit. And then they came in, one of them grabbed me by the arm and pulled me out and took me back to my cabin. And he was like, "I had to pull you out so everyone saw that, but like, I'm proud of you." I was like, "Why'd you stop it?" Like, but he had, that was their job. They had to stop it. But that was my first kiss. She like laughed as I got pulled off. We were both laughing, but it was like embarrassing but awesome. And
did you ever kiss her again after that?
No, that was it.
Aww.
Yeah, because they were like against the rules, and we, the camp was split in two.
You never saw her after that camp?
No, she didn't live in the area. She was out of she wasn't even in the same state. So
that's still cute, though.
Yeah, it was cool. It's a cool memory. It was like, it was sweet. It's like out of a movie. It was very like cinematic, sort of like, run off to it, behind the dance floor, whatever. Yeah. So it was cool. What about yours?
Well, okay, so like you, I had like my first kiss as a kid. I was in 4th grade. There
you go.
And I really liked this guy, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to kiss him. And his best friend lived next door to my best friend. So we would all be in the same area all the time. Like I'd be at her house, he would be at his house. And so I was over there, and he was riding a bike in front of the house going back and forth with his friend. And I looked at my friend and I said, "I'm going to kiss Zach." And she said, "How are you going to do that?" And I said, "I'm going to go push him off his bike." And that's exactly what I did. I went and I shoved him off his bike, and he goes, "What'd you do that for?" And I jumped on top of him and I grabbed his face and I just made out with him. And yeah.
You're such a dick, but that's great. I love it.
I was very aggressive.
That's fantastic.
And then my friend, I was terrified of getting in trouble. I told my friend, "Do not tell my dad I did that." And the first thing she does when my dad shows up is, "Tom, Morgan pushed Zach off his bike and kissed him." And I look at her like, "Bitch,
Was he
And
good?
my dad is not like a confrontational, does not like have like, he doesn't like to discipline, like just very like chill guy. And so we're on our way home and it was just an awkward silence. And I remember being so nervous, like he's not saying anything. And he goes, "So why'd you do that?" And I'm like, "'Cause I wanted to." And he goes, "Well, we don't always do what we want to do. Don't ever do that again." I'm like, "Okay." And that was like the end of the conversation.
Wow.
So terrified. But then like my real like teenage kiss, I was 13. Um, this guy Drew, and he asked me to be his girlfriend, which meant walking me to class, holding my hand, you know. And so he was like walking me to my, after school I'd like walk to my mom's work, and he was like, "Okay, I'll walk you to your mom's work. Meet me behind the McDonald's and I'd like to kiss you."
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, okay, but no tongue."
You said no tongue?
I said that.
You said no tongue?
I said no tongue.
Why?
And he said, "Okay." I thought I was moving way too fast. So I met him behind the McDonald's, and the plan was to kiss. And so we kiss, and then I feel his tiny little tongue like trying to slide in, and I smacked him on the face, and I said, "I said no tongue," and then I walked away.
Wow. Aunt Momo getting feisty.
But then we like went to the movie theater. I remember my great grandma driving us to the movie theater, and then we made out through the whole movie. So I ended up giving in pretty quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one.
All right, you're up.
I'm
Number
up, yeah.
7.
Okay.
You need to move these faster.
I know we're only on 7. Jesus. If you could name the most difficult thing about being a teenager today, what would it be?
Oh, social media. I am so glad that I mean, we barely had cell phones in high school. I mean, the cell phones in high school were like, they had like the snake game, and you had to type for a C, like 111. like it was like there was no social media, hardly any texting, no photos. So I think kids have it so hard today with social media, and just kids are mean as it is, but to add social media to it and pictures, and like, thank God we weren't allowed to take photos and send pics and stuff back then. That's awful.
Yeah, I think I actually think I agree with you. I think it is not only that, but I think it's the access to millions of people.
Yeah.
Like if you like, I'm terrified for my niece personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think my nephews will be okay because they're just so drilled into sports and just being boys and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I mean, the most they have to compete with is like another guy wearing a cooler jersey than they do. Like, oh, he's got the LeBron jersey, he has the whatever. Like, that's all they really, and that's not even really a thing. Mm. Girls, not knowing if a girl has a filter on, if she's actually that toned, if she looks that good or not, if she has, you know, if she's traveling somewhere and the other girl can't afford to travel, like all those little micro things add into an overall, some little sweet girl sitting on her couch, you know, watching this stuff and like just feeling less than dirt. And that the part scares the crap out of me, because that is, I think it's not only social media, it's just simply comparison is what I'm scared for teenagers. It's comparing themselves to anything but themselves. And I'm guilty of it too. I do it all the time too. I see something like that guy's traveling this, doing that, whatever, like it's easy to go to that place instead of, oh, that's so cool, good for them. And I try to default to that place, but I can only imagine on a child. And if you're a teenager, you're still a child to me. So like that, I can't imagine, because they don't have those skills yet. So their default is like, damn it, like that's just, it makes me sad to see that. So I think the most difficult thing is comparison, for sure.
It's so true. It's so scary and sad.
Yeah.
And then it sucks because those people most likely don't even live the extravagant lifestyle they're portraying. And then these kids are thinking it's real. It's not even real. And then they're like sitting there sad and depressed that they don't have that. But like most of social media is fake anyway. And people don't always realize that, especially kids. Okay, what is the most embarrassing moment of your life?
I actually thought about this a lot, and I think full disclosure, we talked about this ahead of time, so
Yeah.
whatever. But I've noticed, and it bothers me actually, is that I suppress a lot of stuff. I have friends that tell me stories and like these elaborate, crazy stories that I was like the center of or a huge contributing factor. And I'm like, what? I don't remember any of it. And it it scares me a little bit that I've suppressed that much stuff in my childhood. So um, I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't have anything that's like that extreme. Most embarrassing moment in my life. You go first. I'm
You're
gonna
lucky though. You're kind of lucky. I have a very vivid, embarrassing moment. In middle school, I was very awkward. I had like two friends, like two really good friends, and that's it. And one of them, she was, we were walking, talking during like a passing period, and then the bell rings, and um, she's like, all right, well, like, see you at lunch. And I'm like, okay. And then I went to like walk away from her, and there were a lot, our school's old, and from earthquakes there were a lot of like cracks in the ground and stuff. I tripped on one of the cracks on the ground, and I fell on my face, and my binder opened and all my papers went flying. It happened to be a windy day. My papers were everywhere, and she looks back, and I go, and then she goes, "Oh, Morgan." And like I was like on the ground, people were just walking over me, and then she goes, and then she like ran. She did not help me at all, and I was like roadkill. No one was helping me. My papers were everywhere. I ended up being late to class and getting detention because I was trying to like get my papers from my homework and everything, and no one helped me. She looked at me and saw and was like, "Oh my god, embarrassing," and she ran off.
Oh, that sucks.
And I was roadkill. People were just stepping on me, like did not even care, and that was so embarrassing to me because I was already so awkward and like did not want to be different and felt different, and then that happened, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the most awful day of my life.
I feel you had someone almost in your life that are like could be a scene in a movie. Like I could see that in some like Disney like TV show or Nickelodeon TV show. Like anyway, that's crazy. Let's keep plugging away here. I think
number 9, you're
number
up.
9. Who was your biggest role model growing up?
Like I would like to be sentimental and say my grandma, like for the first, few years of my life, first 15 years of my life. I think my grandma was such a huge role model and is so much of who I am today because of her. She had me grow up on old movies, a lot of black and whites and like classical, like musicals and stuff. And just, I think, some people say I'm an old soul. I think it's because of her. Um, she was just such a kind woman. I think as a teenager, I will say a role model for me ended up being J-Lo because I never really felt like I was pretty or belonged, and everyone I remember being like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, they were all like blonde and really thin and just different than me. And so I never felt pretty or I don't know. Like I didn't really know and I didn't really know like as far as like who I was like I didn't like people thought I was maybe Hispanic of some kind and I'm not. And so I couldn't really I wish I could like identify with. They were like, "Oh, you're Hispanic." No, I'm not. "Oh, you're white." Well, I don't know. Like people don't like I just didn't really identify really with anybody because I wasn't like the blonde cheerleader and I also wasn't like the exotic like Latino girl and so I really like didn't know how I fit in. And then for some reason like when J-Lo came out in Selena, I'll never forget, and then she started doing her music career and stuff. But Selena, I saw this like gorgeous woman with dark hair and dark features and curves, and I'm like, oh, and she was beautiful and like popular and like people went crazy for her. And like I remember her first music video that came out, and I'm like, okay, I can identify with that. Like it like gave me hope that like a boy would be interested in me one day. Like I'm like, you know, it just and I just gravitated towards her and still do. I mean, she's amazing. But I would say that she definitely became like a role model for me. I think she was like the first celebrity I remember like looking up to, if that made sense.
Wow, interesting. I think it's actually interesting too. You make that point because that is what girls do now. But that's part of my point, though, is that girls do it now, but with like girls on social media and girls on TikTok and girls on those are the role models. The internet is raising the kids now. That I wanted to make sure I doubled down on that point.
Yeah.
That's where comparison comes from. Before it was like the movie star, the whatever, the woman smoking a cigarette elegantly with the handsome man, and like all those things are. We just shifted now, and now this is what we do, and it's crazy. But that's a cool story. Actually, I like that. For me, I think it's a variety of different people. My dad is one of them in certain ways, not in all aspects, but there's certain things that I really, loved the way he provided, the way he took care of us, the way he would show up and be strong and stood up for what he thought and believed in and didn't let up. He was unwavering, he is unwavering still. And so there's good and bad with that, but there's something to be taken away from that as a positive. And I watched him build a business from nothing. I know that he came here without knowing the language and spoke not a single lick of English and found a way to get a job and put his hands to work and make money and provide for himself and, provide for his family. And I've just really always admired that about him. I think he's one. My uncle is one of them. My mom's, both uncles, my mom's brother, my mom's sister's husband, both were amazing role models. They were just such sweet, kind men, and they were so sweet to the women in their life. And I think I pulled part of that for myself too. And then as far as celebrities, I got weird ones, but mine were like when I was a kid, like Tom Cruise is the coolest guy ever, like Top Gun and like Days of Thunder, the racing movie. Like I loved the confidence he had on screen. I loved all that stuff. And then I think Will Smith was a big one for me. Loved Will Smith. I loved watching the Fresh Prince growth from being a little young, dumb kid to, becoming mature and like settling into who he is. And, even though as a character, he grew up a lot on that show. He grew up hugely on that show in real life. So I took that as well. I loved Jim Carrey growing up. He taught me how to be a silly goofball and just, that's okay to be that way. I've had friends that have passed away and, they made being creative cool. And I looked up to them a lot because they made being a goofball or being creative something that's okay to do. And then also Ross and Chandler from Friends.
Yeah.
Those are my boys. And Joey, I love all three of them. Those are the three guys. I love those dudes. I just loved, again, how they handled humor, how they handled, I know it's a TV show and it's all writing and whatever. Who knows what they were in real life, but they were a big part of me. We all watched as a family growing up, and that became part of like my rhythm and part of who I am growing up. So that was a long answer, but that's mine.
Amazing. I love all that. And you're like a big mix of all that.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a concoction. It's a mess.
Okay, we'll try to move these last ones quicker.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so if you could have wait, it is my turn, right? Yeah. If you could have one person you've lost touch with call you and ask you out to dinner, who would it be?
Dead or alive or alive?
Just, alive. Like someone that you've lost contact with.
Okay. Damn it. I would say, I don't know. That's a hard one. I have a couple friends that I've lost touch with, but it's kind of for a reason. But I do miss them sometimes. So like, one of my friends, Jacob, who was like my best friend growing up, I would love to see who he is now and see, he was a difficult person for me growing up, but taught me a lot of lessons that I definitely hold near and dear today. So I think now that I made peace with all that, I'd love to see who he is now and see who he's become. And that's part of it. And then I've lost touch with some family just over politics and different things growing up. So I'd love to. That's a hard question, Momo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to stick with that. I think for now, I might have another answer, but that's it for now.
Yeah. I think for me, like someone that sticks out would be my friend Malika, who I trained Malika Han. Yeah. I trained her for a long time and her sister Khadija. And we were really close. And then we had like a falling out that even like to this day is a little confusing for me.
Yeah.
And I really miss our friendship. There were a lot of good and bad things about being her friend,
Sure.
but I would like to think that the positive outweighed the negative. And it bothers me to this day that we couldn't like that we couldn't, you know, solve those issues and figure it out. Yeah. So I do think about it from time to time. Like I wish that we could make things better.
Maybe we could. I don't know the politics of yours and what happened, but I mean I do, but I mean not like where it is now. Maybe we can both challenge each other, reach out to that person, and ask them out to dinner.
That would be.
I think I might actually do it and just be like, hey, want to get dinner next week? And
Okay.
it could end up with a no. It could end with
challenge. I mean, you know, I'm at a place now where I feel confident that I'll at least. I'm not confident that she'll accept, but I'm confident that
she doesn't have to
do my part. But I'll do my part, and I'll reach out to her.
You open the line for a solid rebuild to communicate. We both have learned a lot, you know, over the last few years or whatever. So I think that's something we can both do and benefit from. So let's try it.
Yeah, I think it'd be healing too. I mean, just to know that I tried, because I don't think I've ever really tried because I was hurt. And I thought, you know what, better off. And now I look back and go, I wish I kind of would have handled that a little differently.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I think that would be a good exercise for us to do. I mean, at least it would make us feel better that we tried.
And we owe it to ourselves to have that. And whether they say no or yes or whatever, at least you did your part to, like, you know, you came out with growth. And if they didn't, that's on them. But at least you know, open it up to having a moment for yourself.
Right. I agree.
Okay, let's see. You might have a better answer for these than I don't. Let's see. If you could own a single prop from a movie, what would it be?
The necklace in Titanic.
Oh,
yeah!
Okay. Damn.
Stuff right. That heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That sticks out to me.
Okay, this will be a quick one.
I have a good one for you that I would want you to have.
What's that?
Johnny Depp's hat in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
Hey, it's at Disney Studios. I've seen it. It's in
Is it really?
Maybe we
go down and steal it.
Break in. No, I'm just
get it. Let's do it. I feel like I'd want the Mrs. Doubtfire outfit.
Oh my god. With the burnt boobs?
The whole thing. I want all of it. The burnt tits. That and then the ass paddle from Daisy Confused.
I haven't seen that in so long.
I know. Let's go right to the next one. Go ahead.
Okay. If you could own a single piece of clothing from a movie, what would it be?
So we can move along. I'll make it quick. Same thing, Mrs. Doubtfire outfit. I'll keep that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say the dress that Audrey Hepburn wore in the opening of Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I think just got sold, by the way. I think it sold for like millions of dollars.
Jesus Christ.
I don't remember who bought it, but yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna get judgment for this one, but I'll actually change it. I want the aviators from Top Gun. Any one of the guys, any one of the dudes that, any one of their glasses, they all have the most perfect sunglasses. I want them. Any of them. All right. Okay. So if you could study any subject in school that was not an option or still not an option, what would that be? That's a good question.
Okay. So I really wish that in school you learn more about money and financing and like how to save and how to spend and how to budget. And I can't believe this isn't a subject in school. You get out of school and the most important thing about life, they don't teach you how to budget, how to put money aside for taxes, like how to save, how to invest. Like then you have to get out of school and you have to buy all these books and take all these classes to learn about it. It's like, why didn't we learn about this in high school?
Yeah. You stole my answer. 100% agree. That is 100%. I think I would add on to that though. So I think it's that and learning how to, deal with your money, how much to save, how much to put away. So when you go through your dumb phase of going out all the time and drinking and whatever and going on vacation with your friends and eating out and stuff, you have a mindset around saving for your future to buy a house or do this or do that or save for your education or save for your kids' education or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I think that would be. I heard Shaq. I get more financial advice on like TikTok from like watching stuff like because there's a lot of good stuff on there about stock investments and whatever.
Yeah.
So Shaq was on one of them and he goes like. He was like, he talked to a guy and he said, like, you might be rich talking to Shaq because he's a NBA player and stuff. You might be rich, but I'm wealthy. And he goes, okay, what's the difference? And he goes, you see this piece of paper? And he ripped it in half. And he goes, 50%. The rich do this. They say 50%. The wealthy cut that in half. They say 75%. So he's like, you save 79% of each check. The rest, do whatever you want. Ball out. Go to dinner. Buy that car. Buy the whatever. But that rest of it, you save. And I get, those little nuggets are so valuable to me. So what I would add on top of it also is learning how to do your taxes. Like learning how to properly do bookkeeping and write down each thing that's expensible and what is and what isn't and start like, getting in rhythm of writing down what you're spending money on and what's deductible and what's not and all those things. I think if you could incorporate that into what you're talking about, it would be such, it is really weird that it's not a thing.
That's really
maybe they don't want it to be a thing. Who knows? I hate that, but anyway.
Okay, so if you could spend a week alone by yourself, where would you go?
I think I would go to a remote part of Yosemite. I think just being surrounded by enormous trees and rock formations and water formations and waterfalls and just ungodly nature type things, just to be humbled and be in a space that is no distraction, no people, none of that. I think that's where I would go.
So funny you gravitate towards the mountains and stuff. I'm more ocean, like tropical. I'm thinking like Hawaii. If I could just go to like Hawaii or the Maldives or somewhere beautiful with just a ton of ocean, and just be on the beach and like paddleboard and like work out outside. Like that would be like my ideal place to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I love the beach. I love the water. But if I had a choice to go, yeah, I think it'd be somewhere in nature where I can build a fire for myself and have no phone, no laptop, nothing, and just have to sit there with my thoughts for a week and just look at the fire and just like put my thoughts into the fire and just kind of let it just or speak out loud, talk out loud where no one can hear me, just say things and speak to the fire and like that would to me would be So that's interesting. I think we are. That's so interesting because I always thought myself as a beach person, but that's we are a little different.
Yeah, it's interesting, but and we won't get into it too much. Move on, but I find like the mountains to actually it's so weird, but give me anxiety a little bit. Like I need to be able to see, and when I just see trees and I know I'm up on a mountain and I think if there's a fire, like there's only one way or two ways to get up or down, it gives me anxiety. Like I need to be flat where I could see everything. Like it sounds so crazy, but elevation and like the trees and everything gives me anxiety. Like I can only for so long.
I agree with that with a sense like I hate the feeling of I feel like I'm being watched by like a bear or a mountain lion or a whatever. Like, that stuff scares the crap out of me. I'm not gonna lie, I'll be totally transparent about that. Like I love being in nature, but like if I could be ideal, it would be with the guarantee that nothing's watching me. Like nothing's gonna come up and like eat my face off or whatever. Like that part scares the crap because you have no control over that. Like no, any man can pretend like he's a man and can like deal with anyone. Like if a bear comes into your space, it wants to eat your face, and eat your face. That's it. It's not like you would handle that. No, you're done. Done deal. So yeah, it can be. Yeah, that's my thing. Okay.
Number 15.
Am I up or you up? I forget.
You're up.
If you were the first lady or first man of the country, what would you want your role to be?
I would want to me like the best role model, no matter how you feel about politics, was Michelle Obama, because she's kind of like I would want to be like her as far as she really cared about health and fitness, and I think was a great role model for kids, which is what I would want to do. So if I were like first lady, I would want to really focus on like what the kids are eating at lunch. Like, their lunches are not that healthy, and just bringing awareness to like what people are putting in their body and being more active, like as a family. So I love that she did that, and I would want to focus more on like the health of America and trying to get people off of so many drugs and doing like a more holistic approach to everything. I know so many teenagers that are on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication already, and I know what that does to you long term, and I know they're going to be on it probably for the rest of their lives, and then it's going to cause all these other side effects where they'll need other drugs that are going to cause a lot of other health issues. And so I would like to try to nip it in the butt and realize like why with social media and all this, people are getting anxiety at a young age and depression, and trying to solve it with meditation and breath work and working out and eating healthy and doing the things that we know help with all of that. So that's something that I would do if I were married to the President of the United States.
That's a good one. Wow. If I was a first man, what would I do? I would go and start implementing into schools that it's mandatory to have a finance class and learn about taxes and learn about how to work with your money. And I would make that an absolutely mandatory thing that every school must have that. And whether they need more finances to deal with having someone to come in and teach that class, or it becomes more of an elective that it's a specialty class, whatever it is. Because I understand not every teacher has the ability to teach that. They don't know that kind of stuff. So I get it, but I would make sure that is absolutely a mandatory class. I think it's important that kids young learn how to think for themselves, and they don't think they need to go into a structured environment, get a 9 to 5, go right into the basics and do what everyone tells you to do. I want everyone to be able to, have the ability to think for themselves. They want to be an entrepreneur. They have the skill sets to go into that space and not be scared of it. Yeah. I think that would be really important, because I think the default is to not think for yourself. It's to follow what history tells us and go into the defaults of what you hear on the news and all that kind of stuff. So I would love kids to be able to think for themselves. I think they had more to that, but I think I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay.
You're up.
So if you could recall the worst traveling experience, what was it?
Spirit Airlines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were flying I was on a job. I was shooting for a magazine, and we were flying out to Tulum, Mexico for a shoot. And everything on the way there went fine because we didn't fly Spirit. On the way back, we had a layover, and they flew us. We had a 2-hour delay on the plane. They turned the AC off, turned the plane off. So we had no air conditioning, and everyone was as hot as balls, like summer in Mexico. And they didn't have water on the plane because it was a quick flight. So they didn't have anything to give us, and which to me was like, should have been like, someone could have sued for that. And then they had us get off the plane and go back inside when the airport was closed, wrangle us into an area right before the check-in space. They wanted us to recheck in for our flights, but everyone left for the night. So we had to sleep on the ground in the airport overnight like cattle. You couldn't leave the parameter because you were in customs. You couldn't go anywhere and like go sleep on whatever, one of the long chairs. You had to sleep on the floor on your luggage. So I'm sitting there with a plane full of people and sleeping on my luggage with a bunch of, I mean, it was like insane. In the morning, we got up and then we had to go out of that space. They had a whole new wrangle for us, and everyone that was there before us had to go in and get checked in. We were last. One of them back on the plane, another hour delay, and then we finally took off and went back to LA. And then when we got back to LA after our layover, we they held us once we got there for another hour, and which doesn't sound like dramatic, but it was like
no, that's dramatic.
It was a lot.
A lot.
That's mine. And just a heads up, my laptop says that we are at a nice 10%. So let's see what happens here. But what's yours?
Okay, so I had a bad experience with Spirit as well, and they gave me a credit, and I'm like, you couldn't pay me to go on.
Exactly.
Like, take your credit and shove it. Like, I'm never going on this again. But no, I would say my worst. It was like my worst and best. But like, I was a PA in Arizona, so for those of you who don't, production assistant, and my job was to take the crew, the camera guys, the models, everybody, and like pick them up from the airport in Phoenix and drive them to the Grand Canyon in a 15-passenger van.
Wow.
I'm 5'1". And,
I've
never driven a 15-passenger van in my life. Yeah. And it was in the middle of winter, and we were in a blizzard, and we're going up, and I'm literally like driving in snow for the first time in my life up the Grand Canyon. And this huge piece of hail, like I remember smacking the windshield and cracked the windshield. I screamed. I'm like, we're swerving everywhere. It's just the car's sliding everywhere. Everyone in the car screaming. I'm screaming. And one of the camera guys goes, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car. I'm driving. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like shaking. And we had to go to this casino. And we were snowed in, and we had to stay in this casino for like a day. And we were just trying to figure out like what to do. And they had food there, so we went to like the restaurant there, and we were just kind of like waiting until the roads opened again because it was such a bad blizzard. And that whole shoot, like we finally get to our destination and our hotel. It's like it's closed. We got there so late because of the blizzard. No one was working, so they just had our keys like in an envelope and just like put it at the door and was like, here are your rooms. And no one was there. And so we go into our rooms, and my door had like scratches. It was like an orange door, and it had scratches like someone was trying to claw their way out. And the heater was broken, and it was freezing and snow everywhere. And I had to put on every single piece of clothing that I brought. And the bed was so cold that it was wet. And so I'm laying in this wet bed, the heater doesn't work, and there were spiders crawling all over the shower, the doors, like, and I'm like, this is where I die. I'm definitely not making it out alive here, clearly. And it ended up being a really good shoot, but like it started out really rocky, but it also kind of made us all bond, and we're still like friends to this day because we're like, I cannot believe that shoot was it was just like one thing after another. Like our producer like fell and broke her ankle, and we had to like get her flown out to a hospital, and then I had to take over, and I've never produced anything in my life. So she just hands me her clipboard and was like, deal with it. So it was like a really crazy experience, but it was also, looking back, like a lot of fun. But
another example of how something in your life sounds like a movie.
Really, really dramatic. Okay, what are we on? Okay, so would you rather find your true love today or win the lottery in the next year?
So normally I would say like I don't need the lottery because like I'd rather earn it and whatever, all that stuff.
But now
lottery because like I'd rather wait a year. And that is the weak answer because I know that's not, like politically correct, whatever. Like you shouldn't just want to get the free money. And I'm not like that. I work my ass off for what I get, but like I'd rather get the money and like help people around me because that's what I want to do and things I want to help and like businesses I want to start. I wouldn't just get it and go blow it. Like I want the money to like help people around me and create opportunity and like start new businesses. And I think through that, I might find somebody, not because I have money, but because I'll be more mixed in with other people and with like-minded people and like building stuff and growing stuff. And I think through that, I'd find someone really special.
What? That answer surprises me, Ben. It makes me rethink mine.
I know. Because normally I would say no, but like I'm in work mode right now. So not like, yeah. What about you? I mean, it's a hard answer for you because you're in a spot right now. So I don't know what you're gonna say, but let's see.
I mean, if I'm being honest, like I'm really liking this guy I'm seeing right now, Ben.
Faith has some words.
She's like, yeah, I like him too. She really does. She likes him a lot. So yeah, like I'm just a hopeless romantic. So I would say like find my soulmate today. Let's do this, because I think if you're like with somebody that you care about and that you love, like it doesn't, like you're just happy like in any situation. But then I see what you mean. Like if you win the lottery and you could do amazing things and then you meet your soulmate through that or whatever, it's hard. Like it's a hard question, but like I'm such a hopeless romantic that like as much as money makes things so much easier and you can do so much with it to help others, and if you have the best intentions, like you do, it would be awesome and you would meet someone through that. But I think I like love so much that the money is like, it's fine if it's there, but if it's not, whatever.
Of course.
So
that's fair.
That, yeah.
That's a good answer. I mean, that makes sense.
Okay.
So
okay. You're up. Number 18.
Would you rather have everyone be able to read your thoughts? Sorry, let me start over. Would you rather have everyone be able to read your thoughts or know your thoughts, or look at your internet history?
Internet history. I have nothing to hide in internet history, but
same answer. Move on.
Okay.
Go for it.
Would you rather would you rather never be able to go out during the day or never to be able to go out during the night?
Never be able to go out during the night.
Same. I'm in bed by 8:30. Let's be honest. Like nights are fine.
And 20.
You're at.
Okay. How would you rather watch nothing but Hallmark movies or nothing but horror movies?
Oh my God. Both suck so bad.
Both suck.
That would suck. Could you imagine?
No, I really can't.
Hate scary movies. I equally probably hate Hallmark movies. They're so bad. They're so bad. But I would have to say I really hate scary movies. They put me in a weird mood. I'd have to say Hallmark movies as much as I hate it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think scary movies have gotten, for me, a little corny, and I kind of see through a lot of it because just like with shooting and editing, I can see but a good scary movie, they're pretty good. So I don't know. I think I might go scary movie because I think I might be really annoyed with the Hallmark movies and like get really cheesed up, and I'd rather be like scared than get cheesed up. So
yeah, I
don't know. I think I'll go that route.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Then
that was fun, and I have 2% battery. We made it just in time.
Perfect.
I got to give a little shout out to Apple and their horrible batteries. I had 100% when we started, and this should not have happened. So Apple, get it together. They'll definitely hear this podcast. So
get it together. They'll definitely hear this podcast.
We're coming up in this world, Morgan.
I love that, Manny. Put it out there.
Yeah.
We're coming up in the world. And Faith just woke up from her little nap. Did you notice that she started out like the devil, and then she was an angel by the end?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she fell asleep. She got tired of waiting for you.
Oh my God. But now she just woke up and I got to take her out. But this was fun. Thanks, Ben.
It's been a pleasure, Momo.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed our 20 questions, and we'll do it again soon.
We'll speak soon.
Okay. Love you, Ben.
Love you too.
Bye.